Well, thank you very much for joining us today. It's a pleasure to have you here in Edinburgh before you give your talk tomorrow at the law school. And Quinn, we'll start with the first question.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so jumping off of what you're saying is you go around and you are obviously bearing witness to the atrocities that happened in Guantanamo Bay, and part of that, of course, is Guantanamo Diary, which you wrote while in detention, and it documents your experiences both before, during, and after. When you were writing that, sort of hindsight is always useful. When you were writing that at the time, was there a specific aim in your text, and that were you writing the text as a witness to severe human rights violations? Was it supposed to initiate? Were you hoping that it initiated policy changes in the United States or changes in conversation? Like when you were originally writing it versus now when you look back on it, what were you sort of thinking at the time when you were aiming to get it published?
Quinn is your name? Quinn?
Yes.
Okay. Caitlin, correct. Actually, it was much simpler than that. So, when I was a child, I have this compulsion. I like to write stuff everywhere and anything. And there was no purpose to it. I just write, keep writing. And I'm a mathematician, so I was forced to write. I never wanted to be a writer in my life. I studied just like your father. I studied microelectronics, information technology. And being dragged and stifled in Guantanamo Bay, I wasn't allowed to say anything except a confession, except to confess to my interview. And I was called like horrific name, mass murderer. I was called the worst of the worst. And this is not the way my family raised me. My grandmother raised me to be a good person. She would tell me you should go outside and find people who are hungry and you should give them, feed them. Because whatever you give, Allah would give you 10 times. And actually, as a child, that happened to me. I don't know whether she conspired to get the money, but every time I gave someone something, from nowhere I get a gift that is 10 times anything I get.
Yeah.
Good investment.
Yeah.
And I just want to tell my family, I wanted my family to know I did not fail them. This is what they say on the news, because I wasn't able to say anything. And I'm a big believer in this saying, as long as the lion doesn't learn how to ride, the story will always glorify the hunter, or something like that. I'm not very good at remembering those.
History is told from the side of the
victor.
winning. Yeah,
The victor.
So
Yes. You know that.
No, yeah, we have a clue.
And the British too.
Yes,
they are very good at writing the history from the side of the victor. And so, and this is what you have, is smuggled letters. So it took me 4 years. Okay, and I'm talking to you guys because I feel comfortable to tell you, because you understand. So when the police arrest you in a democracy, we saw that in the film, and I know that they have to tell you, you don't have to talk to us. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. So when I was kidnapped, the FBI, that is the FBI, they would tell me, you have to talk to us. I would say, no, I'm not talking to you. And then I say, I have rights, I don't have to tell you anything. They say, no, you will not leave this place until you tell us everything.
Yeah.
And then I just kept like being stupid, and I wouldn't say anything, just like a stone. But this, you can do this maybe for 1 hour, 2 hours, but you cannot do this for so many years.
Yeah.
So I did until, I was kidnapped November 2001. And then I was turned over to the torture team May of 2003. It's very close to like 1.5 years. About 1.5 years. But so at first, but sometimes I just tell them this is who I am, and so. But they say, no, we want you to confess. And then So when Richard Zuli came to Richard Zuli is a cop from Chicago. You can look him up. He's very known. He put people in. He tortured people in the U.S., not in Guantanamo Bay only, in the U.S. That's what qualified him. And there are people who spent more than 20 years in prison because of him torturing them and putting them in prison. And then they saw that he was qualified. They brought him as the leader of my team. And he came to me. He told me, "We will kidnap your mother." Because they thought I was resisting, but after 70 days of intensive torture, like no sleep, I didn't have any feeling. Like they would think, "Oh, he's resisting. He's a badass." No, I'm not a badass. I'm just completely floored. I don't know what to do, and I'm confused. I have no feeling. But when he told me he was going to kidnap my mother and put her in men-only prison, it was like a jolt. So I was saying, I will say anything you want. Anything you want that I will sign. And then I signed this horrific, false confession. And they were stuck, because now they put me as the first person for death penalty. But for death penalty, so yes, they need to call the lawyer then to organize and it was eerie. Like I sat there just like with Sergeant Charlie, he was closer than Caitlin. And he was telling me, so the government wants you dead, death penalty, but if you give us someone, they say in America, rat out. I don't know why. Rat someone out. Do this in England?
Yes.
Yeah.
If but
You
they
rat
don't
someone
say,
out, yes.
But they don't say rat someone out. They say, if you testify against someone.
Yeah.
And then I was like, because I had no feeling whatsoever. And then after more than 3 years, I saw the first time my wife. There was a table like this, little bit. Then she came through the door, and I was so happy because I saw Law and Order.
Yeah.
Because Law and Order is all fake, by the way. The small guy, getting justice.
Yeah.
David and Goliath. Not true. If you have money, you are much better off in the U.S. than if you don't have money. So that's a very cold fact.
Yeah.
And then I want to hug her, but I was bolted to the floor. So, and then she stood there because I looked really very scary because I had this, prison uniform, and I was like a ghost, Then she was like, she was taken aback, and then I don't know, it's like seconds, but it's so long, because why don't you hug me and so on, and then she saw that I couldn't move because of the chain. I was chained because you couldn't see it because the table is here, and they organized so that the lawyer are right beside the door. So if the crazy person, a detainee, tried to attack the good lawyers, they could bail out. This is all like propaganda, and then, all orchestrated to show everybody those people are evil people, And and then I wrote like 160 pages before she came to me. 160 pages. I kept writing. And then she said, you need to write more.
Yeah.
And then what I said to rewrite, because I wrote this in a hurry, maybe 1 or 2 days. They told me she was coming. They gave me papers. I need paper to talk to my lawyer. So, and then I was allowed to send letters. And then I said, then between around June 20th and September, I wrote everything here. So, and can I show you somewhere? This is my writing. When you see my writing, you see that it was in a hurry, like this is what I wrote. So, yeah, in a hurry, and I used both
sides.
So to make it very small.
Yeah.
And then I kept sending. When the government saw everything, they took it.
Mm.
It was detained about 8 years. I wasn't allowed to. My lawyer wasn't allowed to publish it. After long years of fight, we were allowed to publish the redacted version.
Mm.
They took out whatever they want.
Yeah. Well, yeah, thank you so much, and of course you'll be talking more tomorrow at the law school, so yes, but thank you so much.
Very happy.